Yeah, the personal relationships that we can have with our customers are really one of the things that make small businesses be able to really go beyond what a large business can do. But sometimes it can actually be forced, and then it seems disingenuous somehow. And can you talk to that? The how may I serve you kind of thing.
Yeah, but also then sometimes the roles are actually blurred, and I know I find this as a therapist, it happens to me a lot more. You go in and they start telling you so much personal information, and part of me starts saying, okay, it's really okay. We don't have to bond and be best friends if that's what you're telling me and you're pulling out pictures of your grandchildren and all of that. It's really great if you've got the picture of your kid playing softball behind you. But what I really want to do is I want to get the job done. I want to be in. I want to be out. And sometimes I even feel manipulated by that. You walk into those stores. One of them will go nameless. And somebody was paid a lot of money to tell this corporation that when somebody comes in, really try to make eye contact with them and say hello. And I sometimes avoid that store or those stores because I go in, I just want to shop for some t-shirts. Don't force me to engage you, okay? I have lots of friends. I'm not here to make a new friend. So I'm sure everybody's guessing which one that is. And then I don't want to be hurtful to them. So I feel like, okay, great. I know you're looking at me. I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say hi back. And then it goes on. How's your day? Fine.
Right.
And then I don't want to be a mean person. Just keep in mind that somebody walks into your business, be it a bank or a small business, they are most people because they're looking for a friend.
Right.
They're looking for someone they feel comfortable with, that's a real human being instead of just a machine that's really going to hear them. But they are not there to make small talk. And also the next person who's waiting is going to start getting really irritable because they're thinking, if that person wasn't making so much small talk, the person ahead of me would be done and I'd be up next.
Okay, this brings us to the very next question. Actually, interestingly on the list, setting boundaries.
Uh-huh.
Especially, I think, I think it probably in any business, but especially in home-based businesses or personal services businesses.
Yes.
How do you go about doing that? You want the client to feel appreciated,
Right.
but at the same time, when you get the call at 5 a.m.
Yes. I know this one. It's and also if you genuinely
Oh yes, as a psychologist.
Yeah, but also if you genuinely love what you do,
Right.
it is so hard to say no. It's there's a mixture of things. You really do want to be there for people, and especially if it's a client you really like. But the other side of it is, are you so desperate or so afraid and working from feeling afraid that you're going to lose their business or they're going to go somewhere else, you have to be willing to risk that because respect is huge. If somebody's so available, there's an old line. If you call up a doctor, a really good doctor, and they can fit you in that day, hang up the phone. Because we're talking about medical, they can't be that good. And I've thought that way with medical doctors. What do you mean they have an opening at 2 today? So, it's also very, very important. You cannot be desperate because you're not going to feel good, but you also don't want to convey that. So you have to be clear on your boundaries, that you don't talk to clients on the weekend. For some people, it may be I don't do any work on the weekends, or Monday's my day off, or certain cutoff hours where you don't take phone calls or you don't do emails.
Right. And so how do you convey that in a way that, again, retains that relationship, that says, look, I want to do work for you, but this is how I have to keep my life in balance, or, how do
Yeah, but then you're sort of, you can't go too far making excuses, but say, I really want to help you, and this is when I'm available, and I know that if I don't maintain my own boundaries and my own happy life and that I'm not going to do the best job for you. Yeah, you have to say, I can really hear how much you want to get it done, and I'm going to get it done for you, but I can't do it till Monday. And Monday I'm going to be fresh and I'm going to be really available. So let's book something now. How's 11 o'clock on Monday?
Right. And I imagine you have to do that a lot as a therapist when people are in really trying situations. For some of us, it's just, that's the other the classic thing, especially in our business. Somebody has procrastinated so long that suddenly...
Yes, they have a deadline.
They have a deadline that's like completely unreasonable.
Right.
And how does one deal with that? I mean, really, what you really want to say is, look, if you hadn't waited so long, we might have been able to do this. but instead you say what?
Well, here's what's interesting. We could be talking about anything,
Right.
is that if you cave and you give yourself up, not only are you going to feel resentful, but you're actually enabling them.
It's when you're working at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
right, you
but
know.
exactly, but you're feeding that person's behavior.
Right.
And maybe they're sabotaging themselves with many other relationships and their projects in general because they procrastinate, and then they just make the assumption that somebody is going to be able to get it done. And the difference is there are people that enjoy working under pressure and stress. You know, I work with a lot of producers, and it is mind-blowing how well they do, and they're used to that, where there's no time in the world. I know for me, I need to pace myself. So you can also say, gosh, that may really work for you, but I know I don't work really well under pressure, and I'm not going to do a great job if I do it at 2 in the morning. So just knowing how I work, it's really important the next time that you give me adequate time and a real heads up so I can be available.
That's true. Sort of explaining the situation. I know we made the mistake of falling into the trap of being proud to be able to save people from these situations.
Right. And every once in a while,
It's good to come through for somebody.
if it's someone you've been doing business with for a really long time and they've been a good customer and this is not a habit and they go, oh my God, I got this deadline, this person really needs this done. And then you still do have to check in with yourself and say, can I really do this? Am I going to be resentful? Am I giving myself up? So it's really a balance. If this is a new client, and it's a way of just gently training them, which is, listen, you seem like a great, you know, one of these type A guys or type A women and who really thrive and you're very creative under pressure. I wish I was that way. You know, maybe another lifetime, but I'm not, and I'm not going to do a great job. So this is good as we get to know each other, that the more heads up you give me so I can make sure I have time for you and I can do the best job possible, the better.
Yeah. Some of us just want to please our clients so much that we'll do
Yeah.
whatever we
Right.
can.